Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cat's Agenda. Today, we are here with our wonderful guest, good friend of mine for a long time, Mr. Abe Narvaez.
Thank you, Katina. How are you? My name is Abe Narvaez. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm from Brooklyn, first off, Puerto Rican, and grew up in Brooklyn my whole life until about 3 years ago. I moved to Florida. I'm an IT consulting business owner for over 28 years, real estate investor. I'm a son, a brother, a proud father. I'm a husband. And I recently just started fulfilling a lifelong dream since like 7 years old of making movies. And it's a vision I've been working on for about 15 years now, and it's finally becoming a reality with the production of my first movie, which comes out next week on Tubi, March 28th. And in the process of this journey and the people that I've been meeting and just me being relentless, uh, I have approximately 3 movies coming out in the next 6 months, a TV show. I'm working on an animated movie, and I'm actually just negotiating and doing a comedy show, a comedy series slash. There's one comedian that's pretty famous that I want to follow around the world doing his show, but in different segments. So one joke will be in London, one joke will be in Italy, one joke will be in Brooklyn, and
Nice.
he's being a pain right now because we had a movie premiere in LA last week, and for whatever reason I couldn't get him his tickets, and he couldn't make it. And long story, but
Mm,
we'll kiss and make up soon. And
hopefully.
yeah, so and yeah, that's basically my story. That's basically the introduction for now.
All right, all right. So, how long have you been? I know we touched briefly on it. Like, what made you want to get into the industry, and how long have you been actually pursuing it?
So it's weird, right? Because life happens, right? So when I was 7, 8 years old, like I was raised by a single mother, and I grew up like missing my dad all the time. So my mom put me like in baseball. She put me in Boy Scouts. She had me watch all these movies. She gave me extra. I have two little sisters, so she gave me extra TV time to distract me, and I fell in love with shows like I'm going to say my age now, but
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna, I grew up on shows like Eight is Enough, The Brady Bunch, Different Strokes. Chips was a big favorite of mine. And then slowly but surely, a lot of the shows and movies that I like, if they were based in California, I was really intrigued and really excited to the point where I asked my mom, "Hey, mom, I want to be in a movie. Why can't I be in a movie? I'm as good. I'm as funny as those kids. You know, take me to let's go to Los Angeles so I can audition." And she's like, "Yeah, Poppy, I'm gonna take you." And, in her mind, she's like, "This guy's crazy, right?" But mom, I really want to be in a movie, and I want to be in a movie premiere. I want to do a movie premiere in LA. And she's like, at some point I was like, maybe I'm 10 now. And she's like, son, this doesn't work that way. Mommy doesn't have the money, papito, and we gotta live here first before we try to go here.
Mhm.
So life happens, and I grew up in the street, kind of like I was a little bit of a thug for a little bit, doing stupid stuff that I'm not proud of, and I finally got myself a job, a good paying job in a hotel, and I was surrounded by all these actors in the hotel. And so I started saying to myself, you know what? Let me just give it a try. So I started doing like some modeling. I started doing some acting. I was in a couple of plays at church. And then I started going to, I auditioned for like New York Undercover, Law and Order. I got an acting job for a Winings video, and then they took the part out. They took my part out.
Aw,
I auditioned for All My Children, soap opera. They wouldn't they
what?
wouldn't they
I
wouldn't
remember
take
that
me.
one.
They wouldn't take
What?
me. That was that horrible. But it definitely wasn't in the '90s. Auditioning and going out for movies and stuff like that wasn't realistic unless you really had some backbone, some money, some direction in terms of, where to go for casting, what's SAG, what's non-SAG. It
Yeah, it's a
was it
very
was just
competitive
it was a
industry.
very competitive industry, and I mean, there were actors that I worked with, and they would come out on these little cameos, but they were still working in the hotel with me. Like it wasn't nobody was making it big, right? So I think over time, reality set in that maybe, I don't have the time or the means because I've always had to work. I've always had to provide for myself. My mother wasn't successful from a monetary perspective, right? So, and I've always helped my mother. Like that was like from young. I've always helped my mother. So, it wasn't a reality for me. And then during my time in the hotel, I met Bill Gates and started opening my brain to like, thinking like, I'm a hustler, I'm smooth, this, that, the other, but am I really smart to figure out? And then like I took a class and I figured out what Windows was, and he wasn't very nice to me, but he spoke to me and said, if you want to do something, do it. You want to learn something, learn it. This is the future. And I'm like, what the hell's a window? Like it's 93,
Right.
94. What the hell's a window? He's like, it's a window. Think about a dresser drawer, right? That's your window. And then you open up the drawer and you got different things, different socks, underwear, t-shirts. So those are files in the terms of the computer world. And as I did my research, I had a friend that gave me an IT job, and she said, "You're very smart. You don't give yourself enough credit. You're very smart. Just work with me. You'll be like a newbie. You start at the bottom of the totem pole, and I'll train you." And like I picked up everything like quick. And God, that was 1997. So I've been doing IT for 28 years, 29 years.
And that's not an easy industry as well. That's a very like tedious, technical uh
It's a lot of
industry that
thinking.
is
Yeah,
yeah, you
it's
got to
it's a lot of
utilize the
thinking.
brain. I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, I do it with real estate all day long, working with numbers and this and that, but
Yeah. Right.
IT is a totally, and nowadays everything is tech,
Yeah.
AI and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's funny,
Yep.
and we're totally opposite because when I was younger, little quick history about me, my mom put me in acting. And I hated it. I would cry. She put
Really?
me in, like, I had a headshots. I was probably like maybe 5 to 8 years old. And she would take me on these auditions. I was actually on a Wonder Bread truck somewhere in California or all over, I don't know, but that was just about me a little bit. But I hated it. I was
Wow.
opposite. And look at your opposite. You wanted to be a star. And I was like, I don't want to be a star. I don't want to be the center of attention. But mom made me go. And then finally she was like, all right, you don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going to force you because I would cry. I was like, I don't want to do this. I was always shy, so
That's
this is
amazing.
definitely out of my comfort zone, but that's so you've been in IT for that long. And then what like inspired you to say, okay, I'm gonna get into this producing, or like what was your first project that you worked on, or what was your inspiration that led you to this, where you are now?
So the love of movies never left me, to be honest. Depressed, happy, uh, sad, like anything that picked me up would be like, or cheered me up or made me have fun was a movie, right? Movie. Um, so with IT, what IT did for me, it created opportunities. And I'll start like from the basic stuff. Like my dream was always to buy my mother a house. I did that first. Then it was buy myself a place. Then it was, obviously like a car or whatever. Then it was an investment property. I did that relatively young. Um, and then I had some friends in college that were doing movies. So I didn't invest. I was going to initially, and then like I guess there was some type of reggaeton artist or what, I forgot his name. I think his name was Magic Wand from years ago, and
Mm.
he put up whatever money. It was like $2,000. It was whatever, and then they were like, "Oh, hey man, like we can't use your money, or whatever. Would you like to be in a movie?" And acting, I have been thinking about acting for a long time, and I say, "Yeah, I want to be in the movie. Hell yeah!" So I did a part. It was pretty horrible, but uh, but it was a lot
I'm
of fun
sure it
being on
wasn't.
set. It was a lot of fun being on set. It was a good experience. And then I don't know what happened. We lost touch. and I'm with a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend of mine, and we're doing movie night. Chinese, stay in, go to the video store, get a movie, and then I see the movie on VHS, and I'm like, oh, and I'm in the credits, and I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then we watched the movie, and I didn't like it, but
We never
that
like the
that
way we come out on camera.
yeah, but that peaked. It stayed with me because I picked it up, put it down, picked it up, put it down. It stayed with me. And then I maybe like a year later, I reconnected with the guy from college and we wrote a script based on a true story, which I'm probably going to end up doing next year, by the way. It's based on a true story on a New York undercover cop that's actually, he's a detective for narcotics, but he's an infiltrator. So he looks young. So he's the guy they put in the high schools to scope out who's selling drugs in the high school because he looks so young.
Mm,
Um, he's the one that is like a hustler. He gets all this Rolex, all these jewelries, all this cash, all these fancy cars provided by the police department, and tries to mesh with other like drug dealers so he
mm,
can infiltrate the family by buying big weight. And
mm.
so there's a specific case that he worked on, and I remember because I know him personally, and he worked on it for years. And I was like, we should write this script. So we wrote the script. I met an assistant of Dick Wolf, Law and Order person, and I paid the guy maybe $800 to get me in a room with Dick Wolf. That's how aggressive I am or was or am, right? And so I stayed in a trailer outside of their studio for like about 4 hours, and no one ever showed up. And I was just like, and it's the same thing. Like I was like, all those years of auditioning for soap operas and shows, I was just deflated. Just like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just, and I'm like, damn, like, what do I got to do? So then him and I are talking, my co-writer, him and I are talking about ways to raise money. And in my brain, I'm thinking this is a money pit because I've become a savvy investor by now, right? And I know what's working for me now is like whatever I put in my 401k, whatever's moderate investments from a mutual fund perspective, NASDAQ, whatever, S&P 500 perspective, or real estate. If I invest in real estate, I'm never going to lose. I just got to sit on it, right?
Right.
This movie thing is I've already got a bad taste in my mouth because I paid him $2,000 and I paid people like I paid for dinners, I paid for drinks, I paid for like I'm trying to make stuff happen. I'm a guy that gets stuff done. I'm not the smartest
Right.
guy, but I get stuff done. Whatever any means necessary. The front door is closed. I'm gonna go through the window. I'm gonna go through the back door. That's how I do it. So it wasn't working. So I'm like, like let me just rethink this because I know there's grants out there. I know there's stuff that you could probably get people to invest in whatever. So I land a contract with Chase and I meet a guy we were like coworkers and he's a screenwriter. So we start talking and he introduced me to some guy. He's a Caucasian, and the guys he's dealing with, he's from Detroit. So the guys he's dealing with in Detroit are African American, and with his scripts are not vibing with what they're doing in Detroit. But he goes, you know what, this cop thing, you should present it to them. So I did, and we met with I forget the guy's name. Last name is Rock. He's a producer in Detroit. He does a lot of Tubi movies. And Snoop. She used to be in The Wire. She's an
Mm,
actress.
I'm not sure.
And then a guy by the name of I'll say Rich. I'm gonna say his full name. And so we're talking and they love it, but they didn't want to charge me like $40,000 to get with them to redo the script to get a reel together to get what they call a pitch deck. For those of you that don't know what the pitch deck is, a lot of times, other than a script, a producer in Hollywood would rather have a pitch deck, which is a synopsis of the film, than the lead actress, the lead actor, the supporting actor, the supporting actress. Who are the three actors you would like to play that part? And then you put it in it's like a PowerPoint presentation, and that's what producers look at now they want that's before. Now they want a pitch deck, and then they want a trailer. They want to know that you have money to at least get some footage together to actually sell the film. Like this is what it could look like.
Right.
So I didn't have I had the money, and I'm like I'm not doing that. You
That's a
know,
lot. That's a
$40,000.
risky investment. Yeah.
I could buy it. You know what I did with that money? I bought a three-family house in Jersey.
Yeah. Well,
So that didn't work. So then the rich person, we kept in touch, and his cousin, a guy by the name of Zen Braswell, is a writer, and he's a director, and he's a producer. Him and I met, and then it was like, okay, well, first your script is good. I want to rewrite it. It could be a little better. So, okay, no problem. And then we worked together and we talked about making the script better. And then we talked about funding. So I'm like, I'm gonna come up with this much. What do you guys got? Then it was like a back and forth, busy signals on the phone. I'm from Brooklyn. Don't try no, come on, bro. Like, one time you don't answer the phone, fine. Two times, all right, bro. Like, this is not gonna work.
right.
So then we kind of said, let's just leave everything on ice. We like the script. We got it edited, the script. I copy wrote the name of the script. And then we just kind of left it alone with Rich calling me like, hey, put up the money, put up the money. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then they went off and did their own show, which is called, I'll give them some props because they're my friends. Always Consequences 1 and Always Consequences 2, which is currently on Tubi. And what that was the turning point for me because I dealt with these guys for so long and got to know them, their habits, their backstories, and they didn't have a lot of money, and they went off on their own and got it done on their own, and called me to tell me, "Hey, this is coming out, man. I'm sorry you couldn't be a part of it, but this is coming out. Tell me what you think, and because then we could start talking again about your project." And so I said, you know what, you guys went off on your own and did your due diligence and did your own movie, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. It's pretty well written. So then we started talking about collaborating together, and then they came up with a TV show that I'm hoping to introduce to you soon,
Nice.
called Operation Get Money, and it's they wanted me as an investor. So then I was like, okay. He goes, we want you as an investor because it's going to cost us half of what it's going to take to do your project. And at least you come in as an investor so you can get the feel. Because I know how you are. You're weary. You make a lot of money elsewhere. You turned off about all this other stuff. So I was thinking, you know what? I could be a producer. Yeah, hell yeah. So he gave me, we did a deal. And 2 years later, we finished filming the eighth episode, November 15th, 2025. And while on set, I met a gentleman that they hired to do the cinematography and to be a producer also called Frank Powers. And him and I hit it off like, you know how you meet somebody and it's almost like God said, you know what? You guys should just be here right now. And you guys are supposed to be here right now. Both of you guys weren't supposed to be anywhere else in the world except right here, right
God's
now.
divine timing. Yes.
And we hit it off. Uh, we hit it off like brothers. Come to find out, the guy's been doing movies 30 years. He's worked with Mark Wahlberg. He's been with Denzel Washington. He's uh he's done a bunch of movies. I'll give you a list of movies that he has on Tubi. He just put it on them. We just cut a deal with Tubi where he's actually now like a distributor with Tubi. So he don't need a middleman, he don't need a lawyer, he don't need an agent. He could just call Tubi directly and be like, hey, I got this product.
Nice. I just canceled my Tubi subscription, so I'm like, but now I'm gonna put it
What?
back on
What?
just
You
for
gotta put it
you.
back on. Yeah, please,
So I had
please,
to mention that. I'm like, what is this? I think whatever, but I
please.
know there's a lot of good stuff on there, like a lot of like true stories. And why Tubi though? Why did you guys decide? I'm sorry, I don't want to go
So
off topic, but
yeah, no. So what's happening with Tubi, and I'm not again an expert, I'm still learning, but what's happening with Tubi is they got bought out by Fox and they got bought out by Sony.
mm,
And they're trying to make it a global streaming service, or at least a streaming service, uh, you know, on steroids, basically. We're trying to compete with the Netflixes of the world and the Amazons, right?
right.
And they're even creating. They want to do a segment for reality TV. They want to do a segment for a live comedy specials, the animated series, podcasts, right?
Mm,
Podcasts. We'll talk about that later. And they have also like an original, right? So like all these movies, you know, you can see New Jack City, you can see When Harry Met Sally, you can see Die Hard on Tubi, you can see a lot of
Mhm.
Tubi movies that are like low budget filmmaking movies. And then they have what's called a Tubi original, which is something that they take extra care of because it's something that's produced by Tubi directly, and it's something that they can actually put on their form. Like, so whoever turns on Tubi will actually see the original first before they see the regular movies.
Oh,
That's the gist of
nice.
it. I don't have it 100%, I'm sure, but that's the gist of it. So our movie I Am Bone is a Tubi original, which you were guaranteed some extra views just because of that fact, and
Mhm.
also because they like the product so much. So Iron Bone was actually a TV show which we shot an episode, but the thought was let's do a movie to get it out there faster to the general public to promote the backstory, which is a true story on redemption, turning a negative into a positive, helping others, which is to me, you know, I'm a little bit more emotional and sensitive than I let on. So, you know, that speaks to me. Anything about upliftment, anything about helping others, anything about turning a negative or a positive, which my mother taught me about at a young age,
Right.
speaks to me. And Frank put me on the project. I wasn't originally on the project. Put me on the project as an executive producer. Then he's like, "You're gonna act too," and I'm like, "I'm gonna what?" He's like, "You're gonna act." So he wrote a scene for me that took me like I don't know 3 days to like rehearse, and then I did the scene. I was a little nervous, but we did the scene, and the next day he goes, "Yo, I wrote another part for you. You're gonna you
Oh, man.
it's the lead up. It's the lead up to that meeting that we finished that we shot yesterday," and I'm like, "What?"
Have you just finished studying those 3 days
No, and
hardcore? And
I start stuttering. I'm like, yo, I don't have my suit. That's what I said to him. Because we were filming in North Hollywood in this Envision It Studios
Mhm.
for 7 days straight, 14-hour days. I got there like on the fifth day. So I had just finished doing two 14-hour days. And that day I was going to we were doing the jail scene. So I was actually like going to help out as much as I could, make sure everybody had the food they needed. I could run errands, whatever. And then I was going to I was going to see my boy in Inglewood, and then I was going to go to the airport and go back home. And then he's like, "No, you got to do the scene. You know what? Stay the way you are." There's no way I could have said no. It's like, anything and anything I could have said, any excuse I came up with, I said, and he said, "No, you're doing the scene." And the scene came out okay, except I licked my lips a lot in the scene.
I do the same thing all the time, but
Yeah.
that's, I guess, just like a natural thing sometimes when you
Yeah.
get nervous,
Well,
dry mouth.
yeah. 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 When I'm
Yeah.
nervous, it's yeah. But it came out good. I'm glad I did it. And going back to Detroit, we're a partnership. We're a team. D&Z Films are called Zen Braswell, Dank Eason, and there's a bunch of other people that I met. One of which I'm working on a movie with now. We're gonna start filming hopefully next month. His name is Cole Corner. He's a filmmaker from Tubi as well, from Detroit. And I play a part. Like I'm actually in the movie. I'm like supporting lead. Like, and
Nice.
I've been rehearsing, and I'm becoming more comfortable. I like it's a good story. It's a lot of embellishment inspired by a true story, but yeah, we got a TV show we're gonna start casting for with the D&Z Films.
Hmm.
Frank Powers and I have created a synergy. He's not only a business partner, but he's a mentor and a brother to me. So we're keeping it. We keep it. We just like each other's company, and I'm just learning so much. Like I'm so appreciative of this man, and we're I can't say anything except about the animated movie. I can't tell you what we're working on, but
Oh,
um, it's something that I will call you and say, "Hey, I got something to share with you." I promise.
all right, good. I'm looking forward to that. That's so exciting. Let me
Thank
ask
you.
you, going back to your acting stuff, did you ever take acting classes or did you
I did,
just
yes.
kind of learn? You did?
Yeah, I did. I did in college, and I did in my 20s. One of the waiters I worked with thought I was like very talented and hooked me up with his acting coach. And that was good from a confidence perspective.
Right.
But then it's been years. I'm doing acting lessons now, like do once a week.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think it's never, you can never be too good, right? You just improve your craft,
Yes.
and it's good to be able to see the aspect on the, because when you're a producer, I would imagine you will have to have a vision for everybody's role, right? Like you have to know a little bit of
Yes. Hmm.
everybody's part and casting and all these things. That's
Hmm.
another, like these are all great like pointers on people just think, oh, I could just produce a movie. That's it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that
No.
simple. Yeah.
No.
So, it's good that you got the acting in, the all the other playing parts to that. What other things like that? I mean, we're gonna get into this movie because it's really exciting. I saw the trailer.
Okay.
um
Thank you.
I was raised in not raised, every summer in California, so when I see the gangbangers and all that stuff, like I was looking at the introduction that you sent me. What is it called? What do you
The
call
intro,
that?
the trailer.
The trailer, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
So I was like, wow, like reminds me back in the days. And I go to some, you see the cholos walking around, with
Yeah.
their,
Yeah.
but and then hearing the story behind it, like, but let's get into that.
Okay. So, I Am Bone is a true story. Um, Before I say more about the movie, I just want to say happy uh, Women's History Month
Oh,
to
thank
you
you.
and your partners.
Thank you.
And in saying that, I want to say that I want to give a shout out to the women, the wives that support us with these projects. And the main one I want to thank is her name is Sandra Martin. She is Shawn Bone Martin's wife. I think personally, I know her personally. She's an amazing person. She was on set every day, just making sure things were as authentic as possible. And I just think, uh, what an incredible woman to actually guide this man and support this man to get him to stop doing what he was doing in terms of negativity and doing positive and telling him it's okay to change and do good, right? Um, Frank Powers has an amazing wife called Michelle Powers, and she's also an actress. She's a career woman. She's a producer. She's a photographer.
Wow, I
Um,
love it. I
and
love
the
these
stuff that
women.
this guy does in a day is not possible without her, right? So I
Mm.
want to shout out Michelle Powers as well, and I want to shout out my wife because I don't know how she deals with me, but she does. But a long story about her. Her name's Gabriella, and when had our son, and I took maternity leave from a job that I had, and I was doing the business, and I had a job, and I said I want to do maternity leave. I'm going to change some diapers. I'm gonna help you out, babe, but I really want to work on this movie stuff. And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." All right, you're gonna take maternity leave to work on movies. I'm like, I'm just gonna redo my script and I want to reach out to some guys and start doing some networking and blah blah blah. And long story short, we're here now. But she is very supportive and trusts that I am gonna make the best decision for first myself, but also my family.
Right.
And so I wouldn't be here without her. And I gotta throw my daughter in there too, who inspires me every day. And then my mother, who always told me there's nothing I can't do. So
Mm.
now I Am Bone.
I
It's a
love that.
story.
I love
It's a
that.
story. It's a story. I'm gonna get emotional. I Am Bone is a
Mm.
story on redemption. So he's a 12-year-old kid raised in Los Angeles, California, that joins the PAL League, Police Athletic League, because he likes to play basketball. It's something to do recreational, something to do after school. And the very people that are there to protect him, which is the police, one of the police officers sexually abused him, right? And so what happens is, throughout the confusion and the turmoil and just basically that traumatic experience, right? He's looking for protection. You look to the police to protect you, and he's confused. And so what does he do? He joins a gang to feel safe and to join and to be protected. if you will, right? And so he goes down another path, turning gang violence, gang banging, negative stuff with the gangs, until he comes to a realization is like, you know what, just because this happened to me, because I had a bad experience, you know, and I went down this path, doesn't mean I have to stay here, right? This is not the end all be all, right? Like I can change, we can reform ourselves, we can do
Right.
good. It's never too late to try to turn a negative into a positive, which I have to commend this man. His name is Shawn Psycho Bone Martin. Um, welcomed me with open arms on this project. He's been through a lot of stuff in his life. He's done some bad things in his life, but he's reformed himself. He's the epitome of turning a negative into a positive in my eyes. And besides the strong wife and woman he has in his life and his beautiful children, it's a strong character to say, you know what, this is BS. I'm going to talk about, awareness and kids that are getting abused, and it's not, don't be ashamed to say, come out and say somebody touched you, right?
Right.
And also, you know, don't be afraid to go up to these guys that are doing wrong in the street and say, you know what, bro, this is wrong. You're bigger
Right.
than this. You can do better. So basically, it's a redemption story. Um, it's streaming live Saturday, March 28th on Tubi
Uh,
as a Tubi
uh,
original.
okay.
And a great staff, great production crew, great family support, great cast. There's another fine actress. Her name is Maribel Chavez, just to mention some women, some strong women. She plays the lead. She plays Sandra Martin's character in the movie, and she was instrumental, and she collaborated with Sandra behind the scenes to make sure all the scenes were authentic. That was fun to watch because I'm learning, right? So it's like
Right.
awesome, and so was Bone. Martin was also on set every day and say, "Nah, this didn't happen like that. I didn't say that. Let's do this." That was
Right.
inspiring to see. That was fun for me to see how that's done and how passionate they are to make sure this project is as authentic as possible, which is
Mm.
blew me away, and I'm very proud of this project. I'm happy and thankful that I'm a part of it, and I'm hoping the people could their takeaway is, you know, it's never too late, to achieve your goals and your dreams, and it's never too late to change if you're down that wrong path. You can
Right.
always do good, and you can always help somebody else too.
And turning the negative into a positive because it's a traumatizing experience. And this is based on a true story. So it's
Yeah,
so inspiring for somebody to come on and just share their life, what they've been through, to be able to, make a difference in boys especially. I feel like boys are, it's more, with women you hear more, being
hmm
raped and stuff, but that's a story that, again, it's very, it's disheartening to hear, right? Because we don't want to hear
hmm
about this, but at the end of the day, it's good that people can relate, and that they can have an audience, or that we don't know who's been through what, and who's gone through these kind of things, that are scared to talk about it. You don't know who can
right.
inspire, so it's very brave of him to, and he got a lawsuit or something. They sued the guy, right? I don't want to get too into it and give up the
Yeah.
spoilers,
So
but
yeah.
the story is amazing.
So because of the what happened, it turns out the police officer that touched him touched several other kids. So the story came out, and it was a big lawsuit against the county of Los Angeles. And you'll see in the movie like the details of what happened. And to be honest, and also it was just him. And again, I talk about the man because I'm extremely proud and I admire this man, Sean Martin, because you know being a part of that life, letting another man touch you and your peers and your people is like, yo, that fool's still alive. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
just the balls he had just to come out and say, hey, this guy touched me in the wrong way.
Absolutely.
That's second to none. And then to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll go to court, I'll testify, I'll, put everything out there, and then fast forward as he's making a change with his life. Um, um, that takes bravery in it by itself, right? To say, yo, I'm so used to being this way, but now, I'm gonna do different. I'm gonna do good for a change. that takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of heart. I was gonna say something else, but that takes a lot of heart. And I'm extremely proud of the man for doing that and for telling this story because I'm pretty sure there are other people and other victims, um, it- you know, directly or indirectly involved with this particular police officer. But I'm sure there's other people that are going to see this and have gone through similar traumatic experiences, and they're going to be like, you know what, it's okay for me to say something.
Right. Right. And through all of that, so now the movie's coming out on the 28th. And you guys had a casting party. Was it the launch, the premiere, was it in
We had a
California?
movie premiere. Yeah, we had a movie premiere
How was
March
that?
10th
Was this your
in
first
Beverly
time
Hills.
ever experiencing
Uh,
that?
I've been to a premiere before, but it wasn't I wasn't in it. I wasn't involved in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm driving. I'm coming from the gym or something. I don't know, and I'm talking to my mother, and my mother's like, "Oh, you have everything set for the premiere. We had some guests. We had so I will say so. There's a guy by the name of Q Ball, which is from the group Sublime that's got a lot of followers. He's from the West Coast. Helped us promote the event. Chumley, which is the producer of Pawn Stars. He's from Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Helped us. He actually put the event together. So thank you to both those guys. Little Easy E, which is Eric Wright, a good friend of mine. He's in the movie, and he's supported on his social media and stuff. Um, so I'm talking to her and I'm saying, yeah, I got these guys lined up and everybody's scheduled and I got the VIP tickets, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you always wanted to do this when you were a little kid. I said, Mom, I was just thinking about that. And it's so crazy.
No.
Like literally I was gonna pull over and like I've been talking about doing the movie premieres, my movies when I was like 7, 8 years old. And I would tell her, yeah, Mom, we're gonna do this, I could do that. Well, why can't I do that? And that was surreal, and then the I hosted the introduction of the movie, which is something that I'd like to do. No one thought I was going to do it, and that felt good. We had about 150 guests, so just to greet everybody, thank everybody, introduce the show, thank my family, uh, thank my peers' family, especially again Sandra Martin. I can't say enough about that lady, and Michelle Powers, obviously. But it was just so it was a surreal experience, really good experience, and something that I probably will never forget until the day I die. We really really pulled together in the last minute. I mean, we planned this like in 4 weeks, and it was amazing. But you know, as luck would have it, I had a premiere in Detroit the very next day for the
Oh,
TV
wow.
show. So I'm like, two of the guys,
You wanted to be a star. It's what happened. Careful what you
¿quién
ask
te,
for.
quién te manda? So and that was exciting. Also, we've been working on this film since 2023. This TV show. The team came together. It was a black and white, a black and red theme attire, and we showed the first episode, and then we showed the trailer to the remaining episodes, and the response was amazing. And I was in the airport like Thursday. I was literally in Detroit for one night, and I just like, yeah. Have you ever pray to God and you have those emotional like cries, like you feel it, you're trembling, your lips quivering like crazy. I
Yeah,
just, I was in the airport and I just prayed and like, I don't know what I did, man, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is, it's really never too late. This is a blessing, and I'm extremely blessed. Really.
it's amazing. That's such a it's to look back and be like when you had the vision of as a little kid, and then to be here in our primes, a little over our primes, right? And it's like, damn, I did that. I wanted to be a business owner. I did that.
Yeah,
You wanted to, something to be proud of,
yeah,
definitely. And being
yeah.
a part of such an amazing story, right? And then I'm sure there's going to be more stories that are based. Production is really good when you're able to actually, like, the best movies to me are like the true life stories,
Yes,
like,
for sure.
so I can definitely see that you're going in that direction, right? More towards like, but based on a true story, but also maybe, adding some things in. But
I have an arsenal of things that I'm working on that I look in the mirror and like, yo, man, who you think you are? But it's exciting. It's happening. Learning a great deal. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for my kids. My daughter's an actress. She
nice.
is, yeah, she is, does a YouTube based, like it's like a conspiracy theory type of thing. She's done two
What's her
episodes.
YouTube? What's her YouTube? Do you know it?
You know what? I don't know it.
You
I,
weren't
I never.
prepared.
She doesn't. I'm forbidden to look at her stuff. I just
Ah,
got her. I just got her Instagram, and it's like she's
oh
doing like makeup
Lord.
and stuff, and okay, I don't see.
But yeah, we
Um,
gotta get her out. We gotta get her on here too.
so I'm working. She's a work in progress. My daughter thinks I'm too aggressive, so so she's a little introverted in a sense, but in a good way. She's an artist. She's a photographer. She does art curation. She got a
Beautiful.
degree in art history.
Nice.
She works full time, and then these little YouTube movies that she's been doing. I'll send you one of her clips.
Yeah.
It's just something that she likes to do, but she likes to do them because she's around people that she's comfortable with, right?
Right.
So it's gonna take me a little time to get her to do one of my films, but I think once she can do one,
When she's ready.
she's
That's the
and
best way.
that's it,
Just
and
that's
that's
just
it.
the way it
And
is.
my daughter and I are very close. I'm like, Mommy, you're not ready. Am I being too much? She's like, Dad, yeah, I need a minute. All right, Mommy. All right, let's talk about something else. That's it. You know,
And that's good. That's good. Because some dads are, that'll put too
I,
much
I'm
pressure and it kind of
I,
pushes the kid away.
I'm that way.
How old is she now?
My daughter is 23.
23.
Yeah,
Almost like my younger son. And
yeah.
your youngest son, how does he feel about acting and stuff, or he's still not?
So he came to the premiere in LA and uh so he said, Daddy, what are you doing up there when I'm hosting? And I'm looking at him like, thank you, son. Like, whatever said his name, behave. And then when he saw me on the screen, he went, that's my dad. And
Aw,
that was like, I got like a little choked up. That was like cool to watch.
an
And
awe moment.
yeah, yeah, it's cool to watch. And so when we talk, he's like, "Dad, you gonna be in another movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe, Poppy. We'll see." You know, my focal part is the executive producer part, and I think over time, especially since the people I've been meeting, I want to try to f help other filmmakers get their shot at some point.
Right,
Right? It's not about me. You know. I like acting because I like the craft of it. I don't want to be famous. You know what I'm saying? I really, really would prefer to just be in a scene or two if I'm gonna
right.
do any acting and working behind the scenes, getting actors their shine. So my nephew is Jason Daly. He's in everything that I'm doing. He's in every single movie that I got coming out, and he's a star of the TV show. And he's in Iron Bone, and uh, was not acting. He was doing music, and that wasn't turning out well for a very long time. And I called him one day and said, "Hey, I'm working on this TV show. You still interested in acting?" He goes, "I didn't know you went to doing movies, Theo." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's been on a hush hush, for a minute, but I'm about to do some stuff, and I got a part for you. Do you want it?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, hell yeah, Theo. I'm with it." And I'm like, yo, listen, man, I ain't giving you no leg up. I'm gonna put you through the process. They're gonna cast. You're gonna audition for them, and you're gonna do what they say. And I want you to pick two parts. I want you to audition for both, and you may or may not get the part, bro. Like that's it.
Right.
And he didn't know that I told my director, yo, if you don't get this part, you better get this part. He don't know.
Give him something.
I wanted him to work for it, and he played a character that he's not. My nephew is Abe at 30. You want to be smooth guy, smooth talker, whatever, whatever. So he
Mhm.
plays this goofball, wannabe thug in the show. And my partners are like beside themselves. We knew you were gonna try to throw him on us, but we didn't know he was gonna be the most talented guy we got. Like that's how
That's
talented.
amazing.
That's how he is. My nephew is not only talented, he's easy to direct, which is not a trait most people have. And I keep getting the same thing from different directors. He's easy to direct. So he can act one character in one mode, and they can say, no, do this, and he'll flip it and do the same character, but totally different mode. And that's a gift from God. And then he's an amazing singer. He's got his own music. He produces his own music.
Nice.
And he's got we just redid his headshots. We just got him an agent in Los Angeles. He just moved to Los Angeles, and
Nice.
that boy's got some heat. You're gonna see him in a lot of stuff. His name
And
is
something
Jason.
never he never really expected, right? Like he didn't have like that younger vision like you did when you were
Well,
at seven.
no, he was the comedian. He will make up stuff. He will make up songs. He will make up dances like 5, 6 years old.
My
And
sister's the same way.
then my sister, I don't know how she got the money, but she got put him through this Barbizon talent school that he graduated from. He won a talent show like at 17 somewhere in California. And so what happened to be, like everything else, right? Life happens. He thought he was going to be this mega star, and it didn't materialize that way. And sometimes we have to look at ourselves too. Maybe I didn't put enough work ethic into it, or you had to get a job, you had to pay your bills. Like these things happen. But he developed a passion for the music on his own and went off on his own to pursue his music. He moved to Atlanta, and for whatever reason, he didn't make the connections he thought he had weren't what he thought they were, and then the other connections that he wanted to make, he couldn't make. So there was a standstill there until I had him always in my. So my nephew is like my son, and my two older nephews are like my son, and then I have two middle nephews that are my god kids, and then my two nieces are like I have three nieces, but they're two nieces that they're like my kids. So, um, him particularly, I said to myself, when it happens or if it happens, I'm going to make sure I create the best opportunity for him, and he'll be safe because I'll be watching. And
Mm.
so far, I am beyond proud, and so far, I'm impressed. Like there's actors that I see, and I'm like, my nephew could just knock him out of the water. I don't tell him that.
And that's
Maybe
and
he
that's
won't.
amazing. That's I know that guy. That's my nephew.
Maybe he won't see this. Maybe he won't see this.
Ah, that's great. That's great though. It's amazing to hear that you're able to also inspire people because that's what I think we're here. God gives us gifts, right? They give us the gifts, so we don't take them with us when we die. We gotta be able to share them with the world and
Amen. Yep.
be able to give those gifts and those blessings and pass them on our knowledge, our struggles, our ups and our downs, because everybody sees the glorious side of things. They don't see the flip side on,
Yeah.
where I had what I went through, where I came from, and then to
Right.
be on the other side of that is always a blessing. I love sharing those stories because I myself, we all can relate in some ways when you have a passion for something. Sometimes you got to put the passion on the hold to be able to,
Mhm.
because you gotta get a real job or you gotta do all these
Yeah.
things in the
Yeah.
meantime until you can actually pursue that vision, and it's
Hmm.
never easy, so that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm going to be playing hopefully we're able to put it in because we're still new to the podcasting thing, right? But we're
Okay.
going to put in the clip to the movie hopefully at the end of this so everybody
Okay.
can watch it, and we'll share the
Okay.
link with everybody so they can tune in on the
Thank you.
28th.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. I got to download Tubi again and do my subscription. I have like a
It's
hundred
free.
subscriptions. I'm
It's
like,
free.
no,
Tubi's
I
free.
actually paid like I think it was like 7.99 or something. No,
Oh my
I don't
God.
remember. I don't
Okay, I will send
remember. I
you.
mean, but
I'll send you.
I have so many subscriptions. I
I'm
have to
sure.
go through my thing, and I'm like, okay, what is this? But I saw the Tubi thing. I'm like, okay, maybe I bought something or it's a subscription, but whatever. I will be there to support you.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have you on again in the future, letting us,
Sure.
know whatever you have going on, just share it with the
I
world. And,
appreciate it.
I'm excited for you. And I think that we touched on a lot today. And hopefully, like I said,
Thank you.
I'm excited. We'll play
Thank you.
the the trailer at the end of this podcast, which
Okay.
is coming up. Anything else you want to share with our audience before you go?
Please tune into I Am Bone on Saturday, March 28th on Tubi as the Tubi original. Shout out to you, Katrina, and your
Thank you.
sister for
Thank you.
congratulations on the podcast.
Thank
I
you.
think it's amazing what you do and what you've been doing. I'm extremely proud of you. I'm here to support
Thank
you.
you.
I'm your friend
Thank you.
for life. And you're a testament to what the powerful woman in this world can do for other people. And so
Thank
I
you.
want you to continue success and don't let anything break your stride.
Don't make me
Um,
cry now.
you have a no, but you have a you're I know you, so you're a good person. You always have been, and you've always been able to bounce back when something bad or negative has happened to you. And I see that in you now. And this podcast is just another avenue. It's going to take you to other heights. And if I can help in any way, I'm a phone call away.
I appreciate it. I really do. And hopefully we'll be in touch soon and we're gonna
Yeah.
share everything you got going on with the world. And
Thank
anybody that wants to share their story on Cat's Agenda, please feel free to reach out at catsagendapodcast@gmail.com. We'll talk soon, Abe. Thank you so much for coming on. And
you.
everybody stay tuned for our trailer.
The streets try to tell my story. The cops try to tell my story. The judge tried to tell my story. Now it's my time to tell my story. When I was 7, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and was given a 3% chance to live. I barely even knew my mother. She never came around.
The biggest mistake of my entire life. You're a money hole that I keep on giving and giving to.
After beating cancer, I thought everything else would be easy. I never thought there was something worse that could happen to me.
The attorney for some of the young boys who had their childhood robbed.
Babe. Look, that's the guy.
Because of that, I went to the local gang and joined them for protection. Completely changed my life.
I'm born where the cold don't sleep. Raised by the curb and the sound of police. No home, just streets, just hunger, just hope. Heart made of scars. Yeah, I'm born. Night air, bread, and smoke. Life hit hard, but I never broke. From cracked sidewalks to a throne unknown, still standing 10 toes. I'm born. Yeah, I don't flex chains, I flex endurance. Pain my teacher, scars my